You are now tuned into the dopest podcast in the world, Crown Jewels Podcast.
It's the Crown Jewels Podcast. It's the Crown Jewels Podcast. If you know, you know.
It's your boy G-Mo the Great, a.k.a. King of the Hustle. Man, and we in here for another episode of Crown Jewels Podcast, the dopest podcast in the world. You dig? And before we get started, let me go ahead and do my plugs, my little shots here. Check out the Crown Jewels Podcast and together with Click Chat Podcast. We're throwing a pajama party December 14th. Go over to the page immediately, click the links in the bio, and make sure you purchase your tickets. You gotta be in that thing, you know what I'm saying? But without any further ado, man, I got a lovely guest in the building. You know what I'm saying? Such a collected guest. Man, when you hear things, you know what I'm saying, circulating the internet like the name Slick Nick. You did. You know what I'm saying? When you hear the Mobcast, you know what I'm saying? Okay? When you hear XMG, you know what I'm saying? Also, when you hear the Hotspot Dallas or that Hotspot DFW, you dig? And you can't forget about DFW iRadio. You know what I'm saying? I got none other in the building than Carmen Keys, you know what I'm saying? And hold on, my bad. I missed the applause. My bad. We got it right now.
Hey, what's good, y'all? What's good?
Man, what's up with you, Carmen?
Man, nothing much. Just, just as they say, living the dream,
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're alive, then you need to be living.
Yeah.
Some people don't know how to live in the present. And I have to even remind myself about that sometimes. Like, you have to just be appreciative of what's in the now. You know
I
what
feel
mean?
it. I feel it. Because I was just thinking this morning, I'm like, man, like I had a photo shoot this morning. That's a little side hustle of mine. And I was just thinking about,
Photographer in the building. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Plus on, trying to be collected and decorated.
Right.
But I was just thinking about how many people live life through looking through the lens of their cell phone and not enjoying the actual moment. Like I actually thought about taking a little break, but then I said, I can't do it. It's too much money out there. I got to get this money. But
it's hard when you're in this part of the industry.
Exactly.
That actually is very difficult.
Exactly,
Very difficult.
man. So I've been a friend of yours on social media for a couple of years now. I've been in Dallas 5 years. So when I got here, the first thing that I wanted to do is find who was who in Dallas to kind of connect myself to what was going on in the city.
Okay.
And you were one of the first people that I actually started to follow. Now, we never really had an interaction on any kind of level, but I always like respected your hustle. Like every time I looked up, you was reinventing, coming with something new, hitting them over the head with something exclusive. And I'm like, who is this? You know what I'm saying? Like she's really doing her thing out here.
Appreciate that.
So,
that.
I mean, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to give you your flowers right here in this moment.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's all good. So we just going to dive right into the show. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to jump back and forth. You know what I'm saying, giving you your credit all throughout this thing. We're just going to shine the whole way.
You just going to make me blush today. Okay. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going into the next segment, which is a segment I like to call News to Me. News to Me is definitely a moment where we kind of highlight what's going on in the world, whether it's politics, whether it's social media, whatever. I'm not too big into watching the news. I'm a little guilty. I don't watch it like that. But when stuff catch my eye, I like to kind of, you know what I'm saying, unpack it a little bit. So first things first, Colin Kaepernick this past weekend had a workout scheduled through the NFL. And, of course, we didn't hear it all in the news how it didn't sound like it went too well for him. But I honestly want to know, what do you think about the NFL with Colin Kaepernick? Like, do you think that the workout was for Cap or this big Cap? Like, they not rocking with him, period? Or, like, what do you think?
So this is my thing about Cap. So I've always been a Cap supporter for the cause initially. So now there seems to be like the waters are starting to get a little muddy, I think, for some people, because it's like, okay, so what is your objective today?
Yeah.
Because we understand like what you stand for, and we're behind all of that. Well, I know I am. However, is this really about you playing in the NFL still, or like what is this about anymore? You know, that's,
yeah.
And I guess that's my question. as to what his purpose is now, because you haven't really played or practiced on a team in like 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like do you really want to still play, or is this something else? Because let's draw the attention away from the NFL. And if it is about football, you have more than the means and resources to collectively start your own. And that's kind of my thing. Like, why continue to battle with something that doesn't, with an organization that doesn't even want you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, okay, Cap, like I'm rooting for you and everything, but what am I rooting for now, though?
Yeah,
I knew what I was rooting for back then, but what am I rooting for you today? You
Yeah,
know
I
what
totally
mean?
agree. It seems like the agenda is starting to change a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So that's my only concern. So it's kind of hard to. I'm just kind of like what is your purpose?
And I'm also kind of confused a bit too. Like, the NFL just gave him a huge payout, like, not too long ago. Like, I'm concerned with how they're gonna like handle him going forward as far as like payment. Like, is it gonna be some kind of retaliation, or do they want to work that money back out of him that they didn't gave to him, or
I say let him keep it. I just want him to do something purposeful for it, like try to partner with somebody and start their own, just like Ice Cube did with kind of like the
Big Three.
Yes, the Big Three. Like, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? So do that.
Yeah. And I don't get it either, because like also with Colin, I noticed, like I said, he got the payout. He got Nike endorsements. He got everything that pretty much everybody play football to get. So at this point, like, what is this? So,
That's yeah. I'm just like, okay, like it can't be that you still want to play for the NFL. Like at some point, we have to say, okay, I don't know. I think as a community and as Black people, like, we have to identify, like, where do we draw the boundaries as to what we're fighting for? Like, at what point do we say, okay, let's start putting some type of resolution or some change in this. Let's change the directive of this. Like, okay, we already know this XYZ. Like, okay, but what are we going to do about it? Like, are we going to do our own thing? Are we going to, you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yep. I feel you. We on the same page.
Yeah.
So my next thing in the news too, and I stumbled across this one late. This wasn't originally a part of the show, but I was reading up on. So I'm the type of person, I like cinema, I like my movies or whatever, and I'm pro-Black. I'm hella pro-Black. I probably say that in every single show that I got. But I get tired of seeing the slave movies a little bit, because I feel like, okay, the way Hollywood depict us is we were slaves, and then fast forward to the 70s, we were pimps. And then fast forward to the 90s, we were gangsters. We was killing each other. And that's like the whole agenda of the Black culture. So it's a new movie coming out that was made by, it was going to be like one of Apple's first films that they were dropping.
Apple?
Yeah, Apple. So it's
Big
called
money.
Yeah. So the movie is called The Banker. The Banker, it stars Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie. And basically it's about two men who decided to start a bank. They couldn't do it because of the time that they were in, so they had a white man to kind of front it like he was running it, but they were actually running it on the backside. So I was super geeked about this movie. This movie looked dope. It looked like it's set probably in like the 50s or something. So all for it until Apple pulled the plug on it. It was going to some festival called the AF1 Festival in Hollywood, and they kind of snatched it from playing. And the reason why is they said that the man who the film is about, so the man that the film is about, his son has some sexual allegations, and so they pulled the film.
With all the other things that have sexual allegations, racial allegations with cartoons and things like that, it's a little deeper than that. It just has to be. I think Apple really just thought about what was at stake with their shares and things like that. I mean, because it gets a little deeper. Like anything, a company like that is public, and especially like on the stock market, like anything that they do can mess up what their worth is. So I think it's a little bit more on that end.
I feel that too. I feel like somebody nudged Apple and was like, hey, you teaching Black empowerment right quick.
Right.
So you need to pull back a little bit. I don't
think they're ready for that jump just yet.
I just didn't understand it. It's like, the man who the movie about son, cousin, baby mama, them had a sexual allegation. So we pulling the plug. Like, you know what I'm saying? It making no sense to me. So I don't know. That's my little thing with my news today. So hey, to each his own, man. But I want to go ahead and jump into my jewel of the day. Jewel of the day, a moment to just kind of reflect on something big. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about this jewel of the day. So, jewel of the day, I was looking at. They had the Soul Train Awards not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
In the Soul Train Awards, there was a couple of people who were nominated for some awards.
Mm-hmm.
One being Ari Lennox.
Mm-hmm. I love her, by the way.
Yeah, and she's buzzing really well. Like, you know, she's catching on really well. But she got a nomination and didn't win. And she like went on a spaz, you know what I'm saying? A couple of things she said, no one would have
that.
a couple of things she had to say was no one would have to worry about me complaining after this current complaint. She went on to say, let's see. What I would not do is be this depressed again. It's not just an award. It wasn't any award show. It was Soul Train Awards. As you can see, I'm a big fan of soul music and a huge fan of Soul Train's history. Being snubbed was something I always expect. Being snubbed was something I always expected and was definitely prepared for, just not by them. And so she just go on and on. There's a lot of tweets and messages that she went on, and bringing it into the jewel of the day. The jewel of the day I wanted to talk about was like knowing your self-worth.
Yeah.
And I feel like that in this moment, I understand she have every right to be upset about it, but I also feel like that she kind of being a little spoiled about it.
Absolutely. That's how I felt. Like,
Yeah.
like no, this is my thing. She's very talented, you know, and at the end of the day, we used to didn't even have awards, and that didn't stop us from doing what we loved and being great in our craft, and especially when it comes to music. Music is a whole nother language. So it almost makes me feel like, okay, so what are you really in it for? I mean, it's cool if you're just in it for the money and the fame.
Right.
That's fine, but I would like to know, because I think your audience really enjoys your craft and what you do. And who's to say next year, like, this is your first, like, why do you feel like, I think it's the entitlement era, and that's
Exactly.
what I don't like, that you feel entitled over somebody else. Like, how do you be the judge of that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So I don't agree with that. People are acting very, very spoiled these days. And
Yeah.
I'm just
and
like, you're just now making a name for yourself. Like, you act like you're Michael Jackson. You've been around for 20 years
Right.
or something. Like,
Right.
come on now.
And that's my thing, especially with that. I mean, like, what are you making music for? Are you making it for the awards? Are you making it for yourself, for your audience? You know what I'm saying? It's tons of people who are great musicians who never won an award.
Absolutely.
And they're great. They're going to go down in history.
Yes.
So it's like I think I don't know, she needs somebody in the corner, probably like an old black lady that's going to really set her down and check that up real quick. Like, you got to relax, you know what I'm saying? And, you know.
I don't know. Sometimes that's why I don't like to hear about those things, because it changes how I view them, whether like my opinion matters or not. But I like you as an artist, so I think I just want to keep it that way. So I'm like, I don't even want to hear it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to entertain that.
And I have to say this, and just being frankly honest, I've heard the name. I heard she's dope. I haven't heard her. But I was getting to it. You know what I'm saying? I was getting, like, I'm slow sometimes with getting to the new people.
And you've probably heard her and just didn't know that was her.
Yeah.
And I really think that,
and so, but now it's kind of like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Now you don't know if you want to, like,
yeah,
even,
you know, I just don't know if I want to like her now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of came off too spoiled. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I believe, like, one of the things with any craft, any humbleness, anything where people gonna pay you their money or pay you by attention, you gotta learn some humbleness. You know what I'm saying? You gotta definitely take a slice of humble pie and relax. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're just starting. Like, you can't come out kicking and screaming.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I want to know, like, have you experienced anything like that where you had to define your own self-worth, like since you've been building a name for yourself around Dallas?
I think that's all the time. I think everybody has their own idea of mama, I made it type of thing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think everybody has their own version of that. I think I feel like I always have to not just reinvent myself, but just kind of stay in the know a little bit. Sometimes you do have to change course. Sometimes your audience changes, especially with today, like everything is forever evolving so quickly. It's kind of hard, but it just depends on, like, is this something that you really love doing or what? Because sometimes when people get there and they start making all the money, then they no longer are doing their craft anymore. So it's like, well, did you ever really love it, or
Right.
was it just for the money? Like me, I'll probably always be into some form of this in some space, no matter what,
Yeah.
because everything in life has always circled me back to it. So it's just something that I love doing. So, you know,
Yeah. I'm the same way. I would say. I think definitely coming from, I started as a rapper, like 16. I thought I was gonna be a Cash Money millionaire.
Didn't
Like-
everybody?
Man, I thought that was it. I had my jabos and everything, you know what I'm saying? Soldier rags, it was going down. And I got away from it. I told myself by the time I hit 25, if I wasn't like making progress, then go back to school. I went back to school. I ain't like school though. Like school, I was like, I'm cool. But some kind of way, I'm still behind some kind of microphone and
Right.
still, you know what I'm saying, being
Right.
creative on it. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
With that being said as well, I lost my place. But we good. We rolling. You did. Hold on. Okay. With also, like, with knowing your self-worth, I know you've been building a brand. Tell me about your YouTube page.
So yes, that is actually based off, right now it's just based off the exclusive interviews that I do for certain people. There's going to be a new interview dropping soon with Rahi Ballantyne.
Nice.
Yes, and that's a really dope interview. So I'm trying to get like my Barbara Walters, Oprah on.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I'm wanting my niche to be for the most part.
What
wanna
made you
get
find that
people-
lane though? Like, what made you feel like you like? I like what you're doing because I feel like there is a need for it. What made you discover that need for it and go that direction?
So throughout my journey, like having podcasts and just doing interviews and just kind of wanting to support, like not just mainly like the local talent, but just like I noticed that I always want to get like that true story out of a person, because I think like when it comes to journalism and when people do a lot of interviews, a lot of people always want to get like what's hot, like what's in the media or the drama or things like that. So I tend to try to find certain people who either have been masked as a certain perspective, and I may want to change that perspective. May want to get into the real nitty gritty, like who are you?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I found out that I liked doing along the way. So as you probably noticed, I've taken a lot of step backs and like, okay, well, this is how I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to do this. And then I identified like what it was about all of this that I really loved. And it was just about me getting the real story and the true story and being able to provide people a platform to do that. So that's when I was like, yeah, I really want to get into the whole Dateline 2020, like Barbara Walters type of role, like that.
Yeah.
I really want to get into that. And so that's what I've been doing. And the people that I've been choosing to do these exclusive interviews on, I've been pretty much just putting the spotlight on them, allowing them to tell their story. A lot of times people get to tell their story, but not really. It's all based off of what's hot, what's going on, what's the wave. So yeah.
Okay, that's super dope. And like, do you ever miss like the podcast action? Do you?
Absolutely. There's always a piece of this that I think I will always either have my hands in somehow. It's almost like I don't know, because I still circle back to it. I'm still thinking about I go back and forth with even just adding that piece again, but just to do it a little differently. But yeah, I think I will always love that.
So are we getting a Mobcast reunion?
I don't know. So we actually had one. I think I was the only missing component. We actually had one recently for all of the original members of Mobcast. I had some other meetings that I was attending at the time. But yeah, so there was one. I don't know if there will be one again. But everybody's still cool. Everybody's just kind of like, ventured off and just doing their own thing and their own path right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
You got these answers, man. You polished right now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go into this next segment. Oh, I just wanted to drop a jewel real quick. My jewel is basically remain humble throughout everything that you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're not taking it too much to the head. Definitely have some self-awareness, some accountability.
Accountability is major.
Yeah. So I definitely want to make sure that just take your time. You know what I'm saying? Have some time where you do some self-reflection. You do some mindfulness, and you know what I'm saying, just be humble. And I mean, shout out to Ari Lennox. I hope she, you know what I'm saying, get whatever she's seeking. But yeah, know your self-worth. Don't let your self-worth be defined by a piece of jewelry, an inanimate object, whatever. So yeah, stay humble. That didn't go according to plan. All right, there we go. We in there. But man, so we're going to the next segment. I call this segment Dope Shit, Nope Shit. So basically, this is a moment where we come up with a couple things that's new popping in social media, the world, culture, society, even technology, and just kind of reflect about it. So I was reading, and this one wowed me out a little bit. They said that they're like maybe 7 months away from dropping a male birth control. So yeah, that's wild.
I mean, are you really surprised though? I mean, it's seriously, in this day and age, out of every other thing that has come out, are you really surprised that they would be introducing that at this juncture? That's
true. Honestly, since you put it that way, I'm actually surprised it hasn't been sooner.
Yeah.
I think what's the surprising part to me about it is who's going to purchase it. If most men who are not using contraceptives, it costs like $1, like who's going to sign up for the birth control?
Well, they thought the same thing about the Plan B, and from word on the street is the little pharmacies can't keep them in stock. So
I heard they eating them like Skittles or something. I heard.
So it's. I think we'll be surprised as to who would actually say, because I do know a lot of men who are on the boundaries of like, do I get a vasectomy because I don't want any more kids and things like that, but then they don't want to do surgery. So for men like that percentage, I can see that. It's very likely.
Especially the older guys or the guys with multiple children.
Yes.
They gonna tax them real hard though for the first couple of. I wonder what it's gonna be though. Like, is it a peel? Is it they gonna put a clamp in there? It's gonna be a Moreno.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not that one. But maybe a shot. Maybe like an IUD
put a sponge,
or something.
Put something in your arm.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a nicotine patch or something. Maybe who knows? They have a birth control patch. I mean, they're very innovative these days. So. Man. We'll see. I mean, if a man is going to be able to actually have being able to have the insides and being able to carry a whole baby, I mean, oh my goodness, like, oh my gosh, I just don't even know anymore.
and I'm surprised they're not on the way with that soon.
They are.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Like they are.
Ah, man. So people gonna have like portable wombs and stuff.
You're not gonna know what's what because people are able to change the sex on the birth certificate and all types of stuff. So
I just read
you know
that.
What I mean? Like, so you're not gonna know what's what anymore.
So like last week, I was going to go buy a gun. I ain't no killer. I just like guns and stuff. But I was buying a gun.
But don't push it.
Yeah, hey, I bow.
Right.
But I was. They told me I had moved, so they were like, you have to get your driver's license updated before you can purchase. So I'm like, cool. So I goes on the website and I'm just scrolling through, looking at everything all the options I have, and I did see where it said if you are transgender, you can come in and change the sex on your driver's license.
Yeah.
Now.
That's scary.
Shout out to the that community. I don't want to mess up the letters. I don't be knowing them all the time, so I apologize.
I don't knock nothing, but it's just interesting to me as to where we're at with as to what identifies the difference between a male and female, because not to skew your show too much, but because like there are like now the verbiage and everything has to be changed on like applications in schools. Like you can no longer identify like, or when you're speaking to somebody as a he or she, it's different verbiage, and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
So the whole English language is being changed.
And not only that, it's not even like, even amongst that community, from what I understand, they don't all agree with all the same verbiage as well. So you can have two of them in the room at the same time, and one want to be referred to as transgender. One want to be as a person who transitioned. Like, it's like a lot of different.
Young Ma doesn't. Well, allegedly they state that she doesn't want to be categorized as a lesbian. She just likes women. She doesn't like men. It's like
it's confusing.
We have too many choices. I think there's a reason for structure. There's a reason for rules. There's a reason. To me, there's only two things that differentiate between what you're born as. It's whether you have a hamburger or a hot dog, right? So, see, I mean, that's it.
That's it. Bottom
you
line.
have a hamburger, you are a girl. If you have a hot dog, you are a boy. Period.
So with that on the male birth control, you think that's dope shit or nope shit?
I mean, whatever people feel comfortable as to keep them from producing children that they don't want, whatever, Yeah. I mean, I just kind of feel like whatever about everything, because it's almost hard. Like, you can't really have an opinion because everything is so sensitive now. So I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
I think it's dope shit a little bit. I think that the fact that men finally got an option, got more options to what they want to do. I guess that's cool.
Along with women, yeah. So I'm gonna say it's dope shit.
But watch out, because I don't want to see y'all in 20 years on a lawyer commercial saying that, hey, if you got the male birth control back in 2019, now you have mesothelioma. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So
if you've had these after effects of death, kidney disease, it's like, dang, I have to die first. I mean, God. Yeah.
So y'all be careful getting that.
Yeah.
Next one, nope shit, dope shit. Tory Lanez, I call him Troy. I don't know what I was going with that. Tory Lanez dropped the Chick Tape 5. You think that's dope shit or no shit?
I'm gonna say no. So I'm not a real like a Tory fan. He's not real hot to me. Yeah. He's more so like a featured artist to me.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. To me, he's just not a headliner. So I'm just like, nope, shit. I'm not interested.
Speaking of headlines, though, his new hairline is busting.
Yo, he got the secret from Tiger. So like, they're really. I'm glad he did, because it changes his whole look. But I'm just that. That's not dope shit to me though. Like all the lace fronts for the men and stuff. I just that's a nope shit for me.
I don't know where they. And I know some people personally, and man, I done had some of the best jokes for these hairlines, and I'm trying to be respectful, because I know some people close to me who rocking hairlines right now. And I just, but I got
that
some of the
didn't have one last year. In 2016, you didn't have no hairline, bro. Man. What are you talking about? 2019, you just pop up with a hairline? Like, what? Come on now. I mean, I don't know. Like, at first it used to be a big thing about men saying about women, like, oh, y'all be wearing weave, lashes, and like, it's too much. Everybody's gonna be pointing the finger to each other. You got fake eyelashes. You got a fake hairline. I mean, what?
You got a painted beard. You know what I'm saying? Just everything.
Man, the Beijing, is that how you pronounce it? I don't want to roll up. Like, I don't want you to leave your whole beard on my pillowcase. You know what I mean? Like, jeez.
Yeah.
Shea butter is one thing for my hair, but for real.
But with the Chick Tape, I agree with you. I don't know what it is. I still feel like I can't identify who Tory trying to be. Like, I feel like he's having what is it like? You know, old men, they have the midlife crisis or
He's
whatever.
having an identity crisis.
Yeah, something going on. Like I don't know who he sound like. He doesn't sound the same on songs. I just don't know his direction, and I have a problem with people. I can't read their direction. Yeah. Like he a rapper one day, he a singer one day, he a fighter one day, and I understand people have layers. You know, everybody's like onions, but
he's a party artist. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a party artist. I can't really just. That's why I say he's more like a featured artist to me. He's not. He's just like I'm not really excited.
Yeah.
Even though like it's crazy because like you can stream whatever. Like that's still even. I'm likely to stream Missy before I stream him.
Yeah.
That's fast. So
yeah, I just feel like he hasn't had a defiant moment yet in music.
Agreed.
Like he hasn't had a classic yet. You know.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So I hope you get one off Chick's tape, but it's a nope shit for me. So we're gonna slide over to the next part. You know what I'm saying? We rolling right along. Trapaoke. So Trapaoke is a little segment on the show. I feel like I need to go out and, you know what I'm saying, trademark this or something real quick. But Trapaoke, just a little moment, just to lighten the mood in the room where I play a little song, you listen, and somewhere in the middle, I hit pause. And when I hit pause, you have to go ahead and just take it over. Nah.
Y'all can hear me freestyle.
So if you hit it on point, I'm gonna give you the bell. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? If you miss it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to hit you with the horn.
Horn me, please.
So I'm gonna jump right into it. Grinding on my life, Nipsey. You ready?
Yes, let's do this.
Money, loyalty, and love in the dream we trust. You'll be switching up the players on your team too much. Tiny copy, that's my low, young supreme, what's up? And we travel around the world getting cream or what? Ain't you get off on whoever hustle seem to rush? Las Vegas strip pop, yeah, you creamed them punks.
I don't know the next words, but I get a respect to Nip. Jesus, what's up? We're going to blue lace to this.
I'm going to give you that little horn real quick. But
Horning me, please.
I'm going to give you half a bell, though, for the energy on that. You know what I'm saying? Play that rest of that.
All that looking tough, all he seen was stunts. 50 Cent and Mayweather flee the scene with us. True story. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price.
All right. Slide over to the next one. Nipsey again.
Yes.
I brought two of them. You know what I'm saying? We're going.
Yes.
So Nipsey, the second one, we're going with Racks in the middle. You ready?
Yes.
Let's hit it.
The B12, double check the details. Gotta cross my.
Did you need to? My
see.
bad. I got you
I was
listening without
still
I done
listening.
cheated for. I'm gonna have to give you a point for the last one. I knew. My bad. Here we go.
Tears and dot my eyes or I can't sleep well. Millions off of retail. Once again I prevail. Knew that shit was over from the day I dropped my pre-sale. Hold up, let the beat build. See me in the street still. I've been fighting battles up a steep hill. They gave my road dog 12, it was a sweet deal. And I've been riding solo trying to rebuild. Look.
With the racks in the middle.
Hey, okay. All right.
Riding around in the V12 with the racks in the middle. Had to pray to Almighty God, they let my dog out the kennel. When you get it straight up by the mud, you can't imagine this shit. I've been pulling up in the drop tops with the baddest bitches.
I just know, that's it.
I got killers to the left of me.
All right, cool.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think I need to take that. I'm gonna go ahead and get that. Hold on, I gotta have some Trapaoke parties or something.
Yes. That'll be dope.
All right, so sliding over to the next thing. We moving right along here. You know what I'm saying? It's a vibe. Now this is something I added this week, and it's a vibe what came about. I lost 2 family members this week. Yeah. And I wasn't
condolences to you.
I appreciate that. I wasn't super close to him. You know what I'm saying? But I feel bad for not being super close to him. And I want to speak more life into the world instead of more death into the world. So I wanted to open up a moment to kind of, we coming to the end of the year as well, which is a good opportunity to kind of like set your goals up for the next year. So I just kind of want to give a vibe, is just a moment where you can take to kind of just shoot something in the air that you predict for yourself.
Whew. So, everything's so crazy. So I predict in the future, whether this is in the next year or the next 3 years, but I predict for me to release both my book and my screenplay by then. I predict that I will be in some form of a political seat within the next 2 years. I'm going to actually be attempting to run for city council for Grand Prairie next year. So, yeah. So I got a lot of things on the horizon for that. So yeah, it's a lot of things going on in the background.
Okay. I feel that. I think with me, man, my vibe, man. I gotta lose some weight, man. I've been over here eating Popeye's chicken sandwiches like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
You've eaten that sandwich?
Yeah, man, that sandwich is good.
I've never had it, nor do I want it.
You don't want it?
I don't.
Honestly, just to break it down, it really ain't as bad as people paint it. It's just like this. Take the bun off, take the pickle off, take the sauce off. It's just breast meat. It's just a Popeye's chicken breast. It's fried real good with some good seasoning.
You did.
That's it.
I don't want it.
It just got a Hawaiian roll on it, you know.
I don't make my own. But see, speaking about losing weight, I think that's a good thing to speak about, because I don't think it's just about losing weight. It is, like, when people say it's a lifestyle change, it really is, because it is based off of your eating, what you put inside your body. And I'm like real big on that.
Yeah.
As far as like what I eat, like I try not to eat a lot of fast food. When I do eat out, I try to, like, honestly, like if I go eat at Papa Do's, I'm having a salad and I'm gonna have a drink. But I don't really eat a lot of that other stuff. When I do cook, I try to cook. I don't do processed foods. Everything's fresh,
good.
Veggies. Fruit is fresh. I don't do like the fruit in the cups for the kids. None of that. I don't buy cookies. It's all you can control that. Once you get that down, you'll be amazed at what type of progress you'll make.
You're right about that. I can honestly say that, like, maybe end of August, September, I started kind of like really getting into Dr. Sebi, and I started kind of following his alkaline diet, and it's mind over everything, because I mean, I'm sitting up eating lettuce with homemade dressing, no cheese, no meat, no nothing. I'm eating nuts all day. I'm eating fresh fruit, organic thing.
Yes.
And as boring as that sound, it was delicious. I was so full. Like,
I was gonna say, filling.
Yeah, it was so good. And I mean, I was drinking a lot of spring water. I have found, shout out the Black Vegan Shop. That's where I buy my sea moss tablets from. So I've been, like, I was doing that and, like, feeling amazing and seeing the weight fall off me like crazy. And I wasn't even working out. It was just eating right and taking those them homemade supplements. And so I just need to tighten back up with that.
Yeah. And working out, what it does is that it helps, like, when you sweating is good, because it helps exert some of those bad toxins in your body and stuff like that, and it helps you release some of that. So like, I don't like to sweat, but when you do a good workout, it serves more purposes than one. So yeah. It's a good thing.
And I think also with the weight loss, and like you talking about what you're taking to your body, like I didn't cut off a lot of people in the last year. It's
important too, though.
It is. Like, I cannot tolerate negative energy.
Yeah.
I like, if our relationship is me giving advice, giving game, giving ideas, and it's nothing on the return, like, I had to let them go. There's a lot of people mad at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a long list of people who mad, but I got a longer list of people who blocked. And I'm okay with it, you know what I'm saying?
I do feel that. I got like a few pages of people blocked. Like, I don't want to go back and forth with you. I just, if we can't communicate, like, this is one thing I do understand. Like, people, everybody's not in the same place as you, and I don't expect for everybody to be in the same place as me. However, I do expect for people to grow. That's the only thing that I can hold you accountable for. Like, I can't expect for you to mentally be where I'm at, or financially be where I'm at, or any of those things. But what I do hold people that are around me or in my circle, I do hold them accountable for growth. If you're not trying to grow or progressing in any shape or form or want or open to it, that's what makes me to have the decision of, hey, I got to let this go.
Yeah, growth's extremely important. So I appreciate that. Love the vibe there. My next segment, my last segment, my final thing is the royal treatment. You know what I'm saying? I try to spin off of my whole theme of crown vibes, king, moving royal. The royal treatment is just an opportunity to thank you again for coming out.
Thank you.
You know, I appreciate everything that you brought to the show today.
Thank you.
As well as everything that you do with helping move the culture forward in Dallas. It's extremely important as well. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to have the floor to promote anything you got coming, your next shows, where they can catch you, your social media handles, and all of that.
Thank you. Yes. Guys, follow me on Instagram at Carmen __ Keys. Follow me on my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio on the Instagram. The show is called The Hot Spot DFW HAUTE, and you can also just hashtag it in the YouTube search, and all my videos will come up. Stay tuned. I do have a new interview dropping with Rahi Valentin. Go follow him and check out his new short film that he just dropped about a month ago. It's pretty dope. Also, we have a couple things going on in the horizon. You guys also go follow at Rap Status. Gotti Gourmet, he also has a song with Hot Boy Turk, bringing that cash money in. You mentioned that earlier. So yeah, it's called Wop Wop Wop. Y'all go check that out. And also stay on the horizon for things to come out with XMG, which is, you guys all know who Mr. Lee is, one of the multi-platinum Grammy nominated producers for credits such as Nipsey Hussle, Bun B, Slim Thug, Scarface, and the list continues. He has a lot of things in store.
Talk that talk.
Yeah, so he has an XMG Music and School and Studio, also with the film and production side. So yeah, so it's a lot of things rolling out in that. So stay tuned with all of that. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's Crown Jewels, the dopest podcast in the world. We appreciate you for tuning in, and we out.
Thank you.